Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing well on today. It is Tuesday, and it is time for our weekly dose of leadership insights. So if you're ready, I'm ready. I'm going to step away for just a quick second and share an intro, and then when it's done, we'll get started. All right, here I am. Good morning. I am Pam Reeves, your leadership development coach, and it is Tuesday, and we're here for our weekly Tuesday leadership insights. And I'll be sharing some information with you this week on communication. So I will be toggling this morning because I'm going to be sharing some slides. In addition to, I have some notes because I want to make sure I cover everything in my 10-minute time frame. So keep me accountable to make sure that I keep it short and sweet. And so today, as we talk about communication, it's strengthening your communication skills. And, as a leader, you're going to be communicating a lot. And it's going to be very essential for you to have a positive influence. And you have an opportunity to change the environment just with the power of communication. And so let's just jump right in. When you talk about communication, you definitely are talking about effective communication. And, it's going to help you to gain trust. It's going to build your credibility, and it's going to help define your character. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to switch over. And so you can see the slide there. And so one of the things as far as insights when we talk about communication is ask open-ended questions. Be curious in the conversation. Whenever you're talking to your peers or your team, it's hard to have a conversation when you're just saying yes and no and you have just those one words. And you want to ask questions to keep the conversation engaging so that the person that you're speaking to or the group that you're speaking to knows that you are listening, that you are in tune and you're engaged with what they are saying. And so conversations can get lost and they can be disengaging when, we're just using one word. So you want to ask open-ended questions. Also, just to make sure that you're clear about what you heard and then how, you will respond. Next, be an active listener. This is very key when you are developing your communication skills. If you want to be a great communicator, become a great listener. Make listening a priority, whether you are in a group setting or whether you are talking to an individual. You always want to let that person know that you are listening. And so again, this kind of ties into the ask open-ended questions. Engage in the conversation with the individual. Minimize any distractions that you may have around you and really give your undivided attention. And especially now that we are in a virtual setting, many of us are turning on our video cameras to have that face-to-face dialogue with our teams or with, individual colleagues. And so, turn on your video, be bold, turn that video on so that you can be in tune, with the other person whom you're speaking to. And then lastly, we'll talk about listen to understand and speak to be understood. This one, there's a quote, and I'm going to look at my notes and read the quote from Franklin Covey, and it relates to this. It says, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Is that you? When you're having a conversation with someone, are you really listening to what they're saying so that you can gain understanding? Or are you thinking about how am I going to respond to this question, or how am I going to respond to this situation? And so it kind of goes both ways. You want to be able to listen to the person that is speaking to you, because you want to make sure that you understand where they're coming from. You understand, what they're saying to you. And at the same time, when you are communicating, you want to make sure that your communication is clear, that the other person is receiving what you're saying, and that you both have a mutual understanding. And so, there are so many ways to communicate. We communicate with written communication, with verbal communication, our body language. We use gestures. Just the list can go on and on. And so as a leader, you will use communication to relay feedback, to make decisions, to give praise to your team or to your peers, or even to give direction. And so communication should be on your top 5 list of skills that you're developing as a leader, because communication is how we do business. And sometimes, communication can be a deal breaker. Have you ever heard of the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it? And so we have to be careful in our communication to ensure that we are conveying the message that we want to get across. And so with that, I'm going to go to my next page. So that kind of wraps us up with our leadership insights this week on communication. You can follow me here. I am on Facebook at Coaching 101 for New Managers. You can also catch me on LinkedIn and on Instagram. And so if you like the information that you are receiving on a weekly basis, I would love for you to like this page, like this video, and I want you to share it with your network, because the whole idea is for us to build a solid community of like-minded individuals who are striving to be leaders that thrive. And so if that is you, bring your friends along. Let's have a great time. And so with that, I tell you to have a great and awesome week. Keep striving for excellence, and I'll see you here next Tuesday. Take care.